Lil Nas X has made a name for himself after multiple successful single releases, and he's opening up about why he has to prove people wrong and even reflecting on some mistakes he's made along the way. Let's get into it.
Lil Nas X only has himself to blame for his global success, and especially after the release of his chart-topping single, Montero, Call Me By Your Name, he doesn't mind ruffling some feathers on the way to the top. Back in 2019, Lil Nas X hit the scene and set the bar high for himself with the release of Old Town Road, but even then, the praise he received was met with double-edged comments alluding to his success as being a one-hit wonder. He recently caught up with Entertainment Weekly and recalled people saying things like, "Oh, he'll never do that again. Hope he saves his money." That's why he vowed to come back with a vengeance with the release of Call Me By Your Name, and it was the lustful music video that especially got people talking as Lil Nas slides down a stripper pole to hell and gives the devil a lap dance. He recalled being afraid of alienating his straight fans, but thought about it some more and eventually came to the conclusion that, quote, "If they feel offended, they were never really here for me. They were here for whatever version of myself they made up in their head." Lil Nas has had to learn to put himself first and stop thinking about how he's perceived to the general public, as he largely credits Rihanna for his zero F's attitude and how she unabashedly claps back at trolls when needed. He said, quote, "I'm very much a chaotic good person. I almost never want to start shooting at somebody who didn't bring it to my doorstep, you know? But I kind of live for when somebody tries to get me and I'm ready to throw it back at them tenfold." Every now and then, Lil Nas admits to feeling bad about throwing the hate back, but admitted, quote, "I feel less bad knowing that I didn't start it. I try to never throw stones, but if somebody throws one at me, I'm throwing an entire house." Through the years, this is something he's had to come to learn, as he also opened up about one of his biggest mistakes, which is previously admitting he was never a fan of Nicki Minaj, solely due to the fear that people would know he was gay before he publicly came out. For the record, Lil Nas is now a bona fide barb through and through. But he also regrets some of his past actions in his pre-fame days, admitting he used to tweet hateful messages toward random people for no reason. He explained that after he came out, he got a taste of his own medicine and finally realized the hate many others experience on a daily basis, saying, quote, "When I first got famous, I would block everybody, but now, for me, I would rather somebody hate the out of me when they're talking about me rather than not say anything at all, because that's giving more power to my name." Amid some hateful comments, however, is a sea of support for Lil Nas X, who has finally been able to embrace his true self. He added, "Once you show the world more of yourself, they can relate more. Looking back on history, the biggest icons, the biggest artists are the ones who aren't trying to always make everybody happy and who are doing themselves. I hope to do that at all times." And now, with a new era of music on the way and an upcoming SNL performance later this month, Lil Nas has his eye on the prize, one of which, in his words, is to always be a voice for those who pretend to be themselves but aren't quite there yet. And by the looks of it, he's well on his way to achieving that goal.
For more music news, click right over here to see another clever news video on why The Weeknd refuses to stop boycotting the Grammys. And then let me know what you thought about everything Lil Nas X said in the comments below. Like, what do you think about him denying that he was a fan of Nicki Minaj? For now, guys, I'm your host, Carly Henderson, and I'll see you soon.